Coming up on today's show. Chinese New Year, we all know, the biggest festival here in China.
It's like an explosion of celebration.
Because it was so unbelievable. It was sort of like at midnight, and you see the whole sky lit up.
At midnight, people just light up the firecrackers and throw them out of the door and slam the door and cover our ears.
Yeah.
Really, that's fun.
Maybe if you're bored and you want some fun, you take a little road trip.
Nearly 4 billion trips will be made in China alone. This is the biggest human migration every year.
It's been insane. You know, like the definition of insanity.
But I'd say in China I feel like it's more of a chance for a fresh start.
For a New Year meal, we have to have fish. Means by the end of this year, you will have lots of money left.
Interesting mix. I have a lot of useful information from this.
Yeah.
Absolutely, me too.
Welcome to China Chats, a FaceTime production brought to you by Radio Guangdong and GDTV World. Today's episode, we're talking about Chinese New Year, which is arguably one of the most important times in China. And to help me discuss this topic, we have Veronea, a global citizen, David, a serial entrepreneur, and Money, a program coordinator. So thank you very much for coming, guys. So Chinese New Year, we all know it's very important. It's kind of like the Christmas or the biggest festival here in China. What's been your experience here so far?
Oh my God, it's like an explosion of celebration. It's like, if in Western society we're kind of hoping it's going to be a great year or a good year, here is like screaming at the gods to bring the good luck for the next year. I mean, whatever you want is like, everything like booming everywhere. So that's one thing in terms of celebration. But on the other hand, it's also like bringing everything to, like the prices are gazillion expensive, like everything. Right? It's like insane, you know?
It's a whole month, 5-6 weeks of just festivals, celebrations, dinners.
Exactly.
We always see a whole bunch of these, I guess everybody has their hongbao,
yes,
their lucky money.
Yeah,
and we see a lot of these orange trees around town, which are also, they signify good luck, right? The orange trees?
Yeah.
All right, very nice. And David, how about you? Chinese New Year? Is that important to you? I know you have a Chinese fiance as well.
Right. I think Chinese New Year is different for everybody. Some people, it's a big family celebration, much like Christmas in the West. But for some people, it's not that big a deal. Maybe they go home, maybe they don't want to go home. You know, things are changing, so it really depends on, I think each family is different. Right.
And Money, you're from Guangzhou. Would you agree with this as well?
Yeah, I think we're luckier than all of you guys because technically we have 2 New Years, right? Like January 1st and now Northern New Year.
So China recognizes both. You have your Chinese Lunar New Year.
We do, but this is bigger.
This is the big one. This is the big celebration.
Yes.
And you touched on this point a little bit earlier. You said it's pandemonium. It's a crazy time of year. Can you tell me more about that? Like, how would you describe Chinese New Year, the vibe, the feeling of people at this point in time?
It's like, if I would say that people in China are very concentrated on working and like very hard working, this is the time when they relax completely. Some of them are gonna not care about work at all. I mean, you can have like the best deal of your life and you're gonna pass it because it's Chinese New Year. And family or going and the vacation that you have been planning so far is going to be a priority instead of actually doing the business deal. Whereas in our Western world, we're gonna be, you know what, 31st of December, I'm gonna style them the deal. I'm not gonna, you know, like pass it later on.
It's very obviously their priority, right?
Absolutely. Priorities are absolutely different here. I mean, the shift of priorities. That's been actually my biggest cultural shock here.
And David, being here, running a restaurant, I'm sure you deal with Chinese staff on a regular basis.
Right.
Is this true? Is it kind of hard to balance schedules? And
I was just speaking with one of my employees who said she's actually going to miss her Chinese New Year dinner for the first time this year because she has to work.
Ooh.
And you know, she's
That's
like,
a guilt trip.
Really making me feel. I told her, I was like, listen, you're gonna get paid more, right? She's like, yeah, I know, but sort of, you know, she's really sad about that. But this is a new China where, you know, businesses are important to people and family is also important. But hey, you know, this is business. I'm running a restaurant in a prime location, so I have to be open.
Of course,
yeah.
Of course. This is going to be a busy time of year for you
Absolutely.
as well. A lot of people shopping, buying new things. Some of the traditions here include buying some new products or new clothes.
New underwears.
New underwear.
New haircut.
New haircut.
New haircut, yeah, right. Everything has to be new.
And is everything more expensive this time of year, or is it just...
Actually, no, I don't think so. Oh, right, besides you said haircut, right?
Yeah.
Clothes.
My haircut was almost double what it normally costs. And
they said, I just did my haircut yesterday.
They said it was busy for Chinese New Year, and the salon was almost empty. And I was like,
well, you got to look good to impress your family and friends. Maybe you haven't seen them in a year, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of like when people in the West go home for Christmas, you got one shot, to prove to people how well you've been doing,
Exactly,
right? And if you come
exactly.
home with a bad haircut, with ugly clothes, they're gonna be
You're
like,
done.
you lose face,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Absolutely.
And they're like, oh, he didn't make it
He
very
He
well.
didn't have a
Well,
good year.
Yeah,
He didn't
yeah.
have a good
It's all about face,
2013.
really.
Yeah.
It's about perception, I think.
And I read a statistic that said nearly 4 billion trips will be made in China alone. This is the biggest human migration every year. The train stations, the airports, have any of you guys experienced that, during Chinese New Year?
Well, I did once on my going away last year, and I said I'm not gonna ever do this foolish step again because it's been insane. The definition of insanity. That is it was impossible to move. It was impossible to find. I mean, all the air tickets were like double or triple than it normally would
Wow.
be. It was insane. So, and it's something. I think we're shopping in different places. Everything what I'm trying to buy now is expensive. You say no.
You get the foreigner price, I think.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, you know where to get the good stuff,
right? I can guide you.
And
Yeah.
Chinese New Year for you, is this your first time going to be experiencing it with your fiance and a Chinese family, or have you done it before?
Well, like I said before, everybody celebrates in different ways. So actually, we're not going back to my fiance's hometown for
Okay.
Spring Festival. We've done that previously.
Okay,
We're
got
actually getting out of town, going to Sri Lanka on vacation.
Very nice.
Getting out before all the pandemonium.
Good.
That's my
Very
goal.
good.
Very, very nice. And how about for you, with your Chinese New Year? I mean, you're local here, so what kind of evolution have you seen of Guangzhou from maybe Chinese New Years of the past to how they are now?
Actually, you know what? I remember when I was little, I would say, as soon as the clock hits midnight, people dash into the temple to pray, to burn incense and pray for their health. And also at midnight, people just light up the firecrackers and throw them out of the door and slam the door and cover our ears.
Yeah.
Really, that's fun, and now it's gone.
That's gone. They've taken
Because-
fireworks out of the equation.
Yeah,
and
it's
out of
banned.
Guangzhou. So traditions, it sounds like, are slowly changing from what they used to be.
Yeah.
Right? And we asked a few people around Guangzhou about their favorite memory for Chinese New Year's. Let's see what they had to say.
That was the firework in 2007 or 2008 in Pearl Delta near White Swan Hotel.
Trying to walk on Beijing Lu on the night of the beginning of the Spring Festival, which was not easy. There was full of people, but I really enjoyed it to be so in that crowd because everybody was happy.
My best friend in China invited me to be with his family for Chinese New Year, and that special, intimate family gathering that is being celebrated all over the country was very meaningful and moving, but also just gave me insight into what's so special about China in the first place.
I was in Vietnam for the Tet, or their equivalent of Chinese New Year.
For me, I like to go to the gathering of called Miao Hui.
跟家人一起去逛逛花市，买一些盆栽啊。
And you know the little orange trees, the little bushes? So we had a guide, and I said, well, are they good to eat? He said, sure. I tried one. Not very good. They're not for eating, they are for show.
So those people had some interesting points, topics, and some stories. How about you guys?
I used to live in Beijing, and I had an apartment on a really high floor, and we had big windows. And so my biggest memory is seeing all the fireworks. And actually, I did Skype with my mother, and I showed her outside the window what was going on with all these fireworks,
my
because it was
God.
so unbelievable. It was sort of like at midnight, and you see the whole sky lit up. And I remember specifically, somebody lit some fireworks in the middle of the street, and the box of fireworks was on fire. And I remember the cars, yeah, it was a big fire, and the car is sort of just driving around this big box of fire that someone had just lit up the firecrackers for.
insane.
I was like, Mom, I'm safe, it's okay, I'm indoors.
Stay inside, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Bernay, how about you? I know you've been
yeah.
all over.
Yeah, for me, it's actually, I have not been through so many Chinese New Years, it's only one, but I did experience our New Year, I would say. It was the one that I've experienced it's like no land, it was on the open seas, it was actually not belonging to any country. I was working on a cruise line at that time, and we celebrated under the open sky and had the fireworks and everything. It was water all around us. We're close to Antarctica.
Wow.
That was fantastic. I mean, to see the icebergs and to know that you are in the middle of nowhere, actually.
I was going to say, no one owns that. I mean,
Yeah,
that
that is free
international
water.
waters.
That is free water. So
Very
basically, I celebrated New Year in no country.
And
you know?
I'm sure you were with people from everywhere on the cruise line, right? So
that was the most interesting thing, actually, to see how many people were together celebrating in different ways. So that was like Spanish or South Americans would have their own tradition, or the ones from Europe would have different tradition, and they were all asking the staff to provide them the necessary tools to do that.
What was one of the more unique ones you saw? Can you remember
Oh
anything?
yeah, the Colombians, you know what they did? They were walking around with an empty suitcase. This is a tradition in Colombia, and then later I found out in Mexico as well. In order to encourage future trips during that year, you have to carry around an empty suitcase. It was very hilarious. They were walking around the ship with the empty suitcase. I was like, is everything all right, guys? And they just told us they want to travel more, and they are going to be carrying a suitcase.
Very nice. I want to start carrying a suitcase. I want more, I want more vacation this year myself. Any more few interesting traditions?
Well, yeah, of course, there are lots around the world, but I'll mention a few of my favorites. In Brazil, exactly at midnight, they like to jump the waves. And this is literally about leaping the year, you know, like making the leap. Yeah, it's really great. You see a lot of people on the beach, and they are going into the water and they are jumping over the waves. Another one is an absolute favorite is in Denmark, where they actually hurling down plates, old plates and old cups against friends and relatives' doors.
Are they breaking the old ones for the new year?
Exactly. It's fantastic. And at first I got scared, I actually screamed a few times, but then I got used to it. It's really fantastic. And the last one is in Spain, where they're actually wolfing down like grapes for every single stroke of the 12. It's like, and also like, you know, grapes are symbolizing richness, luck, and all that kind of idea. So they are doing that. People are not going to count most of the time, so just have to eat very fast.
As many as you can.
Exactly, while the countdown is going there.
That's very cool to see. There's so many different types of traditions. And how about you? Your favorite Chinese New Year to memory? I mean, I know we've covered, you had a lot in Guangzhou.
When I was in university, I went to the Flower Street as vendors because we couldn't rent a booth there. And we have to, you know, buy things and just, you know, cover them, the goods in our jacket, in our backpack, and like, oh, Chengguan's coming, and we have to run. and when they go away, and then I was like, okay, come on, now we have to attract the customers to buy our goods from us.
So that's
very fun.
And how about you, David? We know you're familiar with Chinese New Year, so any other fun stories for you?
Yeah, actually, one year when I was in Sichuan province at my fiance's hometown, we were kind of bored, so her and some of her families and friends decided to drive up to Chongqing and have some hot pot at night. Nice. And I just thought that was kind of weird to drive for like 2 hours just to go to hot pot. And then they said, okay, so we're staying overnight. So I said, okay, so we stayed overnight. The next day we drove to Chengdu and had hot pot there again. But they're all saying like, oh, the hot pot in Chengdu is so different than the hot pot in Chongqing. And I'm like, I don't know, it kind of looks all the same to me.
It's all really spicy.
Yeah, right. They're like, no, you don't understand. The Sichuan hot pot is different in different areas, and it was like, oh, okay. I tried to understand, and so some people sort of do, you know, Spring Festival in different ways.
Right.
Maybe if you're bored and you want some fun, you take a little road trip for some hot pot.
Road trip for hot pot.
Yeah,
right?
It sounds kind of fun to me.
It sounds like you had a very good local experience then.
And speaking of food, you know, Canton, we for a New Year meal, we have to have fish. You know, fish means by the end of this year, you will have lots of money left.
Oh,
good
to know. I'm going to eat a lot of fish.
Fish and red underwear.
Fish and red underwear.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, interesting mix. I have a lot of useful information from this.
Absolutely, me too.
Compared to your guys' home countries, I know we all have different backgrounds here. What's different about Chinese New Year compared to how you celebrate it at home?
I would say we are not as generous in fireworks. I would say that, oh my God, David was mentioning before. I mean, we do have a time, but now what I've seen before, I mean, I think that is a drop in the sea compared to what they have here. So that's one thing. And then all the noise and everything around it is like so lively and so amazing. It's like in my country, it's basically just a little bit of celebration, but only on the 31st, and that's it. Here is like, you know, like all around that week is like all a complete like.
Everybody's out, everybody's walking around.
Noise is the signature of Chinese.
I know, I know. I know that.
Very noisy place that time of year. And how about you, David? In America, is it relatively the same with her?
I think it's a lot different as well. First of all, obviously, like you said, it lasts a lot longer. But I'd say in China I feel like it's more of a chance for a fresh start. It's more like you can change your job, change your life. maybe you go home at Spring Festival from the city you're living and you don't go back. Maybe.
Yeah.
This is pretty common.
That happens.
Yeah,
happens here.
especially in the service industry or maybe some construction workers. You go home and see your family, and then you realize, I really like it here, and I want to stay. I don't want to go back to where I'm from. We're in the West. I don't think you go home, you know, at sort of Christmas or New Year's and say, oh, I'm not going to go back to where I came from.
That's why you pay a lot for yourself
It
to
seems
stay,
like
right?
it seems like New Year in China is really like a new start. If you want it to be 2014 year of the horse is going to be X, and maybe before was Y, you're able to make that change.
That's right.
That's very, very
it's the same
interesting.
thing. I agree with you. I felt it's like this pristine beginning, you know, like totally new page that you would start, and you feel that even if you did a lot of scenes in the past, it's like you have like the pristine start for that from this now on period.
And something similar to that in the West is what we call New Year's resolutions.
Sure.
We have some few people around Guangzhou. How about some New Year's resolutions? What are your plans for 2014?
Well, usually they are always related with lose weight and get fit.
I'm going to lose some weight.
To eat healthier.
I wish myself can earn more money.
希望老板加薪哦。
The business and my personal career, everything goes as I expected.
结婚呢？
早点结婚吧。
My Chinese New Year resolution is to focus more on my Chinese studies.
It's a popular one, but I'm looking for the self-discipline to do that.
But I think that important is that the end of a year, the beginning of a new one means always a time to reflection on what you have been done and what would you like to do in the next future.
Looks like losing weight, working out, getting married are all pretty popular for everybody. Everybody has those. Everybody makes those. Mine, speak more Chinese, study more Chinese. I need to stay on it. What's one of your New Year's resolutions?
Oh my God, it's a very interesting question because actually today it's one of the days that I have been waiting for. It's a competition. It's not a competition. It's called Otilo. It's one of the toughest races in the world. It's done through the Swedish islands. It's like 26 islands, and it's Otilo is like O-T-O. So it's like from island to island.
Wow.
It's done in teams of 2. So this year I really want to start to train seriously for this race. It's like the toughest competition
And how
in
do
the
you
world.
go island to island? What do you?
So it's like 65 kilometers of running and 10 of swimming.
Oh, you run and swim and
You run and swim, but I have to tell you that, I mean, if you want to know what spectacular is, you do this.
Yeah.
From the scenery to everything, because everything is done in a team, so only 2 people can do that. And it's like one of the most outstanding experiences that I think somebody can experience in this life.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah.
Quite a journey. That's quite a resolution. That's a big
Oh
one.
my God.
Sounds tiring.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you know, a resolution needs to be something that I believe, something that needs to scare you enough to push you to do that.
Absolutely. Something you really want to follow through with.
Exactly.
Yeah. David, how about you? Any resolutions this year?
Sure, I need to get married.
Okay.
I think that's something I really need to push through and plan. You know, have a wedding
It's
maybe.
going to happen.
Right.
Yeah,
I think that's sort of my personal goal resolution.
Right.
And for work, I would say I really want to develop our employees and teach them new skills and really make them feel like they're part of a family, so that I can develop them. And if I develop them and train them, they'll stick around and they'll stay longer, and they'll perform better service for our customers.
Build up your rapport and your relationship, so then like it'll be more of a collective, everybody's winning kind of mentality.
And so that'll make sure that next time if they go home during Spring Festival, they come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't stay home, right?
That's amazing. That's amazing.
That's a great idea. I love that. And Money, your resolution for the year?
My resolution is to get our concept printing project off the ground and running smoothly, and also my foreign trading business.
Very nice.
Too, yeah.
So it sounds like everybody has some big goals for 2014, which is the year of the horse, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Very, very good. Thanks again, everybody, for being on the show, offering some good advice, some good insights. Very funny, very useful. And thanks all the audience for watching. Happy Chinese New Year, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
To wish all people the best.
Feliz Año Nuevo.
新年快乐.
新年快乐. 快乐.
Happy New Year.
I can say it in Danish. Rigtig godt nytår.
I can do it in like Brooklyn, like, yo, Happy New Year from Brooklyn.